everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Today I wanted to talk about what my experience has been with not smoking weed for about a month, and also pretty much the reason why I don't really plan on smoking weed pretty much ever again. So I do have a couple of questions that I wrote down that I think some of you guys may have, and then that way I can answer them and then we'll kind of go from there. So when did I start smoking? I started smoking when I was about 14 years old, and at that time I was living with my mom, who was a single mom, and I was living with a family member who was very verbally and emotionally abusive. So I think I was at that time showing the first signs of depression because I just felt sad all the time. And I think weed, when I first started smoking, it acted as an escape because it allowed me to feel something else that wasn't sad. So that's kind of where my relationship with weed started. I continued smoking pretty much every single day until now. So I was smoking every single day for about 14 years. When did I want to stop? So there were a couple of red flags throughout my life. One of these red flags was, and I'm not sure what triggered this, to be honest, but maybe some of you guys suffered through this. I'm not sure, let me know. But there were about 4 times throughout my life where I was smoking and I would just faint. And it would happen on like the most randomest times. Like there was one time where I was checking out at Kmart and I just like fainted. That was embarrassing. There was one time where I was at a bar and we had smoked before and I just fainted and we got kicked out of the bar because they thought I was so drunk. But I was like, I'm not, nope. About 2 years ago, that's when I started to notice that I was just tired all the time and that I was dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety. So after speaking with a friend who's a doctor, shout out to Jeremy, he mentioned that if you have been smoking weed for a very long time, that can trigger depression and anxiety. And so I heard him and I felt like that made sense to me. But maybe because I had been using weed to get rid of anxiety and depression, it just didn't click in my brain. That may be one of the reasons why. Another thing, I had been going to therapy for about a year now, and I realized that I needed to be more present and be able to control my thoughts more. So then that's when I realized, I can't control my thoughts when I'm smoking weed. So that's when I realized, okay, I really do need to stop smoking. However, the thing that made me truly, absolutely just want to stop smoking, I was listening to this podcast by Huberman Lab, and I'm gonna go ahead and link it down below. But there he talked about how if you start smoking weed before your brain is fully developed, which is at 25 years old, then it is very likely that you are impairing your brain into developing gray matter. Don't quote me. But apparently, this gray matter is what really allows you to control your emotions. And when he said that made complete sense to me and the issues that I have been facing for a very long time. So that's what really, truly made me want to stop. And another reason is that I just felt so tired all the time. And I changed many things. I changed my social media schedule, my eating habits, my exercise habits. I pretty much changed everything, and nothing was working, I was still so incredibly exhausted all the time. So I was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's making me so tired. And I actually think that it was the weed. So what has my experience been not smoking weed? So I haven't smoked weed in about a month now, and I don't really plan on going back. For the first 3 weeks, I feel like everything felt very boring. The things that would bring me joy or that would be relaxing when I would be smoking, such as like, cleaning, organizing, those things just didn't appeal to me at all for the first 3 weeks. And I actually felt like I was maybe going into a depressive episode just because nothing really, I don't know, I just felt very bored all the time. However, I have noticed that my mood is a lot more stable. Before, when I would smoke, I would get into these super anxious highs, and then about an hour after I would stop smoking, I would get into these like super tired lows. And now I feel like it's more like, stable. I do like that. However, that does seem to be boring, but better. I think that's better. I have started to notice that I'm able to do, clean and organize, and I feel good. I feel good about it. I feel like I'm starting to feel more stable joy rather than really high highs, I feel like I'm able to be more present, and I feel like I'm able to direct my thoughts to more positive ones, which is always great. Before, I would feel like my brain would go into these loops, having the same conversation with myself over and over and never getting to like an actual final point. But now I feel like I'm able to get to the end of a conversation or a thought with myself and be like, okay, conversation's over, I can move on. I feel like time is going by so much slower, which to some that might be bad, but to me, I know that I would get a lot of anxiety from feeling like time was just going by so fast. So I feel like I have a lot more time to do the things that I want to do in a day. I feel less tired. It's crazy. Honestly, want to continue not smoking, and I feel like I'm no longer on the situations that were making me sad, so there is no reason for me to continue carrying this habit with me. So I hope that this was helpful to you guys. I hope that, if you're going through this journey, this can give you some hope that it gets better. I hope that this was helpful, and let me know. Feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions, and I'll see you guys soon.